Hello, all you freaks out there on the internet. Welcome to FritzRolle732's MLP Month Macabre Reviews of 2017. I'm your host, FritzRolle732, and today we got a great episode for you guys. For this episode, I'm going to share you my review and my opinions on the hit MLP Grimdark Butterflies written by Adcoon. And I have to say, for this fanfic, you guys, it's not bad, but it's not great either. I mean, I can see why this was only on WatchPony.com's top 10 list for top 10 MLP creepypastas. Like, this was one of his three honorable mentions for this list. And I have to say, I wouldn't agree more. I mean, don't get me wrong, the story is not bad, but like I said, it's not great either. I mean, I do like the horror style that goes behind the story, and I do like the fact that Fluttershy becomes like an antagonist because it's rare. I mean, it rarely happens in Grimdarks, you guys, especially these, because, I mean, when it comes to Grimdarks, from the My Little Pony fan base, you expect Fluttershy to be more the victim instead of the antagonist. But her being the antagonist here, oh my gosh, you would really not expect this. Like, you would really be shocked when you read the story. You would feel like, oh my gosh, Fluttershy would never do something like this. This is insane. Oh my gosh. But oh well. But as for, what I dislike about the story, it's just too straightforward and just a little bit too cheesy, to be honest, you guys. I mean, it's just a little bit too straightforward and kind of like, oh gosh, this is obviously not going to end well for, this specific type of character. But anyway, I mean, that's pretty much the likes and dislikes, but let me tell you guys more about the story. But before I tell you guys, of course, there's spoilers on the way, so in case you guys haven't, read it or watched any fanfic readings of it, which I actually encourage you to watch Loss's fanfic reading of it because it's really amazing, you guys. So if you guys want to check it out, click on the info bar above my head or click on the link in the description below. But anyway, so here are the spoilers. So basically, what happens in the story is that Pinkie Pie visits Fluttershy one day, and then all of a sudden, Fluttershy tells Pinkie to go down to her basement so that way she can show her something that she's been doing for, a while. And then all of a sudden, Pinkie Pie starts seeing all these weird stuff and it starts to freak her out. And then all of a sudden, when it starts getting creepier and even more, disgusting and stuff like that, it just freaks her out even more. And so she just wants to get out. But at the same time, it's like making Fluttershy more upset. So, of course, being the good friend she is, she didn't want to make her upset. So she continues on. But then all of a sudden, when she reached like the end of the journey, she sees one of a familiar pony chained up and hanged up against the wall, like her dead body is hanged up against the wall, and it just horrified Pinkie. And that pony was Rainbow Dash, you guys. And I was like, oh my gosh, why does it always have to be her? Why does it always have to be her? Like, oh my gosh. Like, even Pinkie Pie was freaking out. She was like, no, no, not my Dashy, and all that. And oh my gosh, you guys. And that's actually a sign where you actually think that this is actually a Fluttershy fic, but it turns out it's actually a Pinkie Dash fic. Like, this was actually a time where Pinkie actually kind of has a thing for Rainbow or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it does show up at the end. Like, because that was her. Because in the end of the story, you guys, she ends off because what happens in the end, you guys, is that as soon as she was trying to escape, all of a sudden she was just so frozen with fear that she could not move. So it'll gave Fluttershy the advantage to stab her in the stomach, and then all of a sudden knock Pinkie out, and then all of a sudden literally put butterfly cocoons inside Pinkie's stomach, so that way she'll end up having the same fate as Rainbow Dash, what Rainbow Dash had. And then all of a sudden, when Pinkie Pie woke up, she was stitched up, but then still butterflies in her stomach and chained up. And then all of a sudden, she was just so crying. And then all of a sudden, she just screamed at Rainbow, "Oh, Rainbow, I'm so sorry that I didn't get the chance to love you." That's the evidence where Pinkie Dash happens. There's Pinkie Dash in this fic, you guys. There's some Pinkie Dash in this fic. And that's also another thing I like, is the fact there's actually Pinkie Dash, but also you feel bad for that ship. Like, I feel bad for the people who ship Pinkie Dash. I mean, that's one of my favorite ships in the main six, but if you guys want to know what my favorite main six ship is, it's Twidash. I prefer that. I'm sorry. But anyway, But overall, I do pretty much like this fic, but at the same time, it's just too straightforward and too cheesy and it's just so straightforward that I mean, it's a one death stand, you guys. It's basically one of those stories where it's a one death stand. And by the way, I just made this up. It's kind of like a reference to one night stand, like all that and a one death stand is basically where all of a sudden somebody writes a story where it talks about two or more characters take place in the story, but it only talks about a death of one character and one character only, and that's pretty much it for the story. And so, like for example, butterflies, cupcakes, rocket to insanity. If I can't have my dream, you can't either. Just pretty much all of those and all that are one death stand stories, as I like to call them. And sometimes whenever I rate these types of stories, I automatically give it a 1 out of 5 because, one death equals 1 out of 5. But you know what? Because I actually do like the horror style and the fact that it references cupcakes, you guys, I give it a 2 out of 5. I mean, which means it's actually, not bad, but at the same time, it could really improve a bit more. Like, I wish there was, like, more writing and stuff like that, like, more origin and all this, even though Fluttershy does tell, like, why she does this and all that. I just wish there was, like, more of an origin and all that, instead of just, showing Pinkie's death. Like, I really expecting to see more, you guys. I was really expecting to see more. But anyway, that's pretty much wraps up my review. And if you guys like this video, thumbs up. If you guys don't like it, thumbs down. If you guys want to check out my whole entire channel, click up here. If you guys want to check out my movie reviews, click up here. And if you guys want to check out my last episode, my review on friendship chats, click down here. Click on the bell and all as well. Follow me on my Instagram at FritzRolle732. With that being said, I give you a good bow for a good show, and I'll see you in the future. In case you're wondering what's coming up next, well, considering the fact that Friday the 13th has ended, well, let's just say coming up next, you guys, even though this fanfic does give you butterflies in your stomach, this fanfic is by far the worst of the worst, at least in my opinion. But in a couple people's opinions, it's actually one of the top 10, which really triggers me because I feel like this one's the worst of the worst. Stick around, you guys. See ya.